let's make a promise to each other. I promise you in the next few minutes, this will be the most important Etsy video you watch all year, hands down. You promise me that you watch all the video, learn from it, and subscribe to my channel. This information I've never talked about before. So what we're doing here today is the Etsy listing visibility masterclass, okay? And what we're going to do is I've drawn a line across the board here, and we're going to have two subjects, above the line and below the line. And literally, this is above the line, this is below the line, okay? So, these are every component of your listing that affects or does not affect visibility on the listing. So, above the line changes directly and immediately, okay, affect visibility, okay? Everything below the line does not affect visibility. All right, so let's talk about when you're working with your listings, everything above the line, if you make changes, it will affect the visibility and performance of the listing. Everything below the line that I'm going to list here doesn't affect listing visibility. Really fascinating. So let's understand what affects visibility above the line, right? Photos. When you change photos, you are going to affect directly and immediately the visibility possibilities of your store, of your listing. Because if the listing photo isn't very good, people aren't going to click on it. Or if the listing photo isn't very good and you decide to change it thinking, I know, this looks better, let's change it. But actually the change isn't better, the views will go down. Just likewise, if the photo is better and customers agree that it's better, your views might go up. Photos directly and immediately affect your listing visibility. Next one, video. Directly and immediately affects visibility, up or down. Video usually makes your views go up. It should do, because if you don't have a video and you add one, you're increasing the value proposition of the listing. So adding video usually means your views will go up. Not always, because if you make the video confusing or not clear, you can actually make the views go down. So you've got to think about adding clear, what is the use of this product in the video? Show the product in use. The next one, massive, massive direct and immediate effect. Product title, right? This is massive. If you change your SEO title, your listing title, it will have an immediate effect directly on your listing. So this is why I say to people, when something's working, don't change it, okay? Product title, immediate direct effect to your visibility. Be very careful about changing your titles on listings that work, right? The next one related to this, of course, is tags, right? Tags. Changing tags in your listing, removing a tag, swapping a tag, adding something new. This all can move visibility up and down. It has a direct connection to your visibility. Even though titles and tags don't rank your listings, what do? Do you remember what they do? I've taught you this many times. Titles and tags make you eligible, right? They make you eligible to be found, okay? That's how these affect. Yes, it doesn't affect ranking, but it makes you available to be found. If you add a new word, tag word, well, that didn't exist before and now it does, right? And if someone searches for that and you have visibility, then you can be found and the listing can be shown. Massively important, direct effect on visibility, product title and tags. Next one. I know this is kind of like common sense for most of you, I hope, but price. It has a direct and immediate effect on your visibility. If something's $20 and you raise it for $20 to $25, that is going to have an immediate effect on whatever customers are looking at that listing. It may not actually realize that effect if the price rise is low or the price drop is low, but if you change something from $20 to $40, the demand is going to drop off. And also, don't think if you had something for $20 and you drop it to 15 or 10, that is automatically going to bring you more visibility and sales. It might not. It might actually drop the visibility and sales, because when you lower a price, you lower the perceived value. Just like when you increase a price, you increase the value perception. Why does it cost this much? Must be good. Or why is the price so low? Can't be a very good product. We all think like this as customers. Price, massively important. Direct, immediate effect on visibility. The next one, let's look. Oh yeah, this is huge. Etsy ads, okay? Obvious, but you've got to understand you're paying for this. It has a direct and immediate effect on visibility. Why? Etsy ads is forced visibility. You are forcing your listings in front of customers' eyeballs. This may or may not give you the effect you anticipated. Usually with news stores, it doesn't give you what you want. You think you're going to make more sales. Actually, no, you don't make more sales, and you spend lots of money to not make more sales. Once you're established and making daily organic sales, that is the time you should use Etsy ads. Once you know your stuff works, right? Once you know it works, then use Etsy ads. Don't just use Etsy ads when you don't know anything about how your store's going to perform. Etsy ads, direct, immediate effect on visibility. Right, next one. Shipping and processing times. Okay? These have a direct and immediate effect on visibility. If something takes you 2 weeks to make, right, but someone else is processing that in a day or two, 1 to 2 days, they will make more sales than you, usually, unless there is an obvious and clear reason that everyone understands and accepts as to why it takes 2 weeks. And if that's the case, usually your competition processing times will be the same. Okay? If you're making digital art, if you're making something like a chopping board, right, and it's taking you 2 weeks to process that, but your competition's making it in 1 to 3 days, and there's no obvious reason why it's taking you 2 weeks, they're just going to go somewhere else, right? They won't come to you. Shipping and processing, direct and immediate effect on visibility. You've just got to do your best here, right? You've got to keep the shipping times, processing times as low as you possibly can within reason. Okay, next one. Again, not thought of very often. Featuring listings, right? When you feature listings, they will have an immediate and direct visibility effect, because whatever traffic is going into your store will now see those listings at the top. And look, if you're new, you just opened, you're just growing, this isn't really going to do anything for you. But once you're doing 100, 200, 300, 500 visits a day, this has a massive effect on what you can sell, right? Because every listing, you can put links in the listing to link to other listings. Remember, here's a little tip. Every listing link you put in your product description is live. It's clickable. Right? You can create a spider's web of links around your store. So many of you still don't know this in 2026. If you put links to another listing in your product description, it's live and clickable, right? So featuring listings, now we can feature something, link to it, and now we can get more views. Views come from your visits. Visits are when someone enters your store. A view or views is how many things they look at once they're in, right? Featuring listings directly and immediately affects visibility. Obviously, the more traffic you've got, the bigger the effect, right? Okay, next one. Changing, and this, no one's thinking of this, changing product category. Okay? So when you change your product category, so that is where you select in Etsy where the listing should go. For example, chopping board or wall art. You type that in to the category search and Etsy gives you lots of options to choose from as in where to place the product. And every subsection, Etsy places your product in that subsection or subcategory, right? So here's a tip. When you do your category search, chopping board, for example, put it in the category list or taxonomy or category and subcategory with the most subcategories. It directly and immediately affects visibility. You don't want to pick a category with only 3 subcategories, right? Pick something, if you can get 5 or 6 out of it, it directly and immediately affects visibility because Etsy puts your listing in all those places. So many of you don't realize this, right? Changing your product category will directly affect and immediately affect visibility, right? So do you see how all these things, you can affect change immediately? Just be very careful. These are the things that affect change in visibility. Now let's look at what doesn't. And this is probably more important for you guys. What can you do every day that doesn't positively, or as is often the case, negatively push your visibility down on your listings? Let's go through them. There's loads. Here's one, huge one. Product descriptions, okay? You can edit these. 1 of them, 10 of them, 100 of them, doesn't matter. It will not affect your visibility. You can do what you want here, okay? It's a below the line change. Below the line, meaning you can work with these and not worry about negatively affecting your listing. Product description, make the changes you need. It will not affect your visibility positively or negatively directly. Yes, if you link to stuff, then views will pass around the listings, but there is no immediate change. So you can do this safely. The next thing, attributes, okay? So things like occasion, holiday, subject, okay? You can make changes to these. It is not going to ruin the performance of your listing, right? There's no immediate direct effect here. Yes, it gives customers more information over time. You know, it might have a tiny impact, but you will notice nothing by making these changes. They're safe to make. Okay, next one. Here's one that nobody thinks about, but I get asked all the time. Changing a file. So if you're digital, will it affect you? No. You can make changes. You know when you upload the file to Etsy or you upload a document with the links to wherever the file is, you can make changes. It will not affect your visibility. No problem at all. Next one, massive one. Variations. Okay? Variations. Adding variations will not have an immediate and direct effect on visibility. Yes, over time, right? Weeks, months, if people start to buy certain variations, yes, you will notice an effect. But if you add variations to your listing, you will not see an immediate or direct effect on your visibility. You know, it takes time. It's safe to do, right? However, and I'm hoping nobody does this, don't remove variations that sell. that's obviously going to negatively affect your visibility, right? And I know this is common sense, but I've got to spell this stuff out. If you've got variations and you take them out and they're selling, of course, that's going to affect your listing negatively, right? So don't do that. That's not safe. Adding them is safe, okay? Next one, let's have a look. Yeah, another one, personalization. There's so many here that are safe to make. Personalization, a below the line change. If you add personalization, there will be no immediate effect, direct effect on your visibility. It's safe to do. Over time, if people like your personalization options, maybe they'll buy them, right? But it's safe to do. You can do it at any time, right? Okay, huge one next. I don't know if I've got enough space to put all these, but I hope this is helping. Literally, you can watch this back. Above the line, below the line. Shop sections, okay? Shop sections, adding them and moving listings, okay? Creating shop sections, putting your listings in those sections. You should all be doing this because it makes sense to the customer. Moving a product from one section to another. You can do all of these things and it will not have a negative or direct immediate effect on visibility, okay? It is safe to do. Over time, maybe you'll get some more views, maybe you'll make a few more sales, but this is safe. But sellers aren't sure. Etsy doesn't tell you any of this stuff. If you notice, nobody's ever taught this on YouTube. And Etsy definitely doesn't teach you. Makes me laugh when people say, oh, don't listen to people on YouTube, don't listen to Nick, everything's in the Etsy seller handbook. Really? Go and find this. Go and find this. Doesn't exist. It's not in the Etsy seller handbook, right? So shop sections below the line, it's fine. The next one, huge one that affects all of you, manual auto renew of listings. So you can either set your listings to manual renew, where you have to manually renew it every time that renewal period runs out, or you can set it to auto renew and Etsy renews the listing for you. By the way, always try to set your listings to auto renew. You do not want to manually renew and keep having to manually add the listing back in. You'll just lose visibility and lose sales. This is a below the line change, okay? You can do it, you can make a change. It will not negatively affect your visibility. It won't do anything really in the process, okay? Totally safe. Okay, things like color, materials. I know my writing's terrible. I'm sorry. This information is so valuable. Maybe watch the video again if you want to take it all back in again. Color, materials, good for customers to know, but when you make those changes, it is safe. You're not going to damage your visibility or cause problems, right? Next one, production partners. Production partners. Okay? Safe to add. It will not directly affect your listing. Add whoever you need to add. Make sure they're all there because it's an Etsy terms of service requirement if you're using production partners to list them. Okay, so please add them, but totally safe, no problem. Last one, how your product's made. So who makes it, you know, how it's made, do you use AI, all that sort of stuff. Totally safe to do. Right? So above the line will immediately and directly affect visibility. Below the line, safe to do. You won't see any negative effects. Now let me give you a massive tip here, right? Above the line changes, okay? If you do them on new, 0 sales and very low sales, and let me be specific, 1-2 a month, you can make these changes and you will not negatively see a problem in the store. Okay, if you've got no sales, the listing is new, or the sales are super low, doesn't really matter when you're trying to make improvements. You know, you won't cause a problem. Don't affect or change listings where you've got decent sales. Usually it causes problems. Not always, but usually. Okay? Be very careful. So you can do all of this stuff on new listings, zero sales listings, and very low sales listings. So I hope this has really helped you understand your listings, visibility, what you can change that affects visibility and what you can't. Let me know in the comments if you like this. I can go and look at listings in more detail. There's so much work we can do with listings. I'm actually thinking about doing a masterclass on listing. So actually listing, right? I think that'll be good. Let me know what you thought of this. And as always, my free trial for my academy is open. Private learning inside my Etsy academy with myself and my team. If you want to do that, the book-in button is coming up now. Takes you to an explainer for the academy. 7-day free trial, no lose. Join it. I'll see you in there, welcome you, and you can build a better Etsy business with myself and my team. Cheers.